I'm in the action, chips on the table. I want the feel good, need another sandwich. I want the win, lucky seven. Every time I walk in. No. Every time I walk in, I'm the best thing, I'm the best thing. They all watching. Every time we walk in, we the best thing, we the best thing.
Hello, hello, hello. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. My name is Zina El Sharif, and I'm a field education trainer with the Wella Company, and I'm located in Calgary, Alberta. So thanks so much for taking the time to join our live this afternoon. And thanks to Modern Beauty Supplies for hosting us. And today we are going to be doing a demo called Halo Lights. And my coworker Nichelle is going to be joining us, so let me just add her in real quick. Let's give it just a minute. Hi.
Oh, it's always this way.
Hi, Nichelle.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good. It's a sunny day in Squamish, so I am happy. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Nichelle Dezotel, and I am also a field education trainer, and I'm located in BC. So I'm really excited to bring this technique to you guys today. Good morning, good morning. Awesome. So Zina's going to be manning the chat for me. I'm going to be demoing the technique for you guys. And really this technique is something that kind of stemmed from when we were in lockdown last year and I was bored with my hair and I wanted to find a way to do my hair myself that was going to be quick and easy. So this technique kind of stemmed from that, and then I created it into something else to do in the salon. So I hope you guys are as excited as I am. So I'll bring my mannequin in here and just let me know if you guys can see okay.
Yeah, for sure. And if there are any questions while Nichelle is showing us this technique, make sure to throw them in the chat or throw them in the question cards, that little bubble with the question mark, and I'll be watching. And I know a couple of our coworkers are in this chat too, so.
Awesome. Thanks, Zina. All right, so I did half of the head already just for the sake of being on live, so you guys aren't sitting here watching me foil forever. But here is kind of my sectioning here, and I'll bring her down, actually. Yeah, let's take her off the stand. All right. So I have a circle section on the top of the head that, you know, kind of ends at just where the parietal ridge kind of starts and then goes about 2 inches back from the hairline. And then below that, I have another kind of circle section that goes all the way around. And I split it into two, and mostly it's easier to work on one side of the head and then the other side of the head. And that is about 1.5 inches wide. And it goes all the way back and it ends just below the nape area here. And it gives me my, and maybe like 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch to the front of the hairline. And then I split the front hairline into one section and then the nape into another section. Now this is mirrored exactly on the other side. This is the sectioning that I worked on the other side. Anybody that knows me knows I love a good sectioning pattern. So I like to section everything out beforehand. And it just kind of gives me a roadmap of where I'm working. It allows me to work really cleanly and quickly. So, all right. So today I'm going to be working with my Blondorplex lightener. So this is my Blondorplex lightener and my 6 volume Color Touch developer. So I'm going to start low and slow. This dolly, she's also been highlighted a couple times and then she decided to go dark and now we're lightening her again. So
She's a bit indecisive.
She's indecisive. Yeah, she doesn't know if she wants to be dark or light. So so we're going to go in nice and low and slow. All right. So really this technique, I kind of created it as a way to give a lot of like perimeter brightness. So lots of brightness around the face and give the hair, like give the client an overall general lighter feel without having to over highlight the hair. So it's something that was going to be, really quick and easy. Like this side only took me 15 minutes. Quick and easy in the salon, and a way to kind of give the hair a general brighter feel without having to put a million foils in the hair. Okay. So I'm going to start in the back here, and I'm going to be working diagonal foils, or diagonal kind of sections here. So I'm going to start about an inch up from the hairline, and then kind of meet in the bottom of my center of my nape area there. And that's going to be my first slice. Okay. Can you see everything okay?
I think so. Let us know if you guys can't see.
Yes. I feel like it's always hard to do this on a live because you never know where my arms are going to end up. Okay, perfect. I hope you guys can see that all right. All right, so I'm going to start with doing weaves. And in the back, like, I mean, anytime I show you guys a technique or anything like that, I really want you to make it your own. I'm going to choose to do weaves in the back here just because I want it to be a little bit softer in the back. But you could do slices for sure. It's really choose your own adventure. So I'm working about medium weaves in the back, working on a diagonal. And the reason why I've chosen to work on a diagonal is because really it's going to give me the most amount of diffusion. So I still cover a large area, but I get a lot of diffusion when the hair falls. So you're not going to see any lines or anything like that. It's going to blend very well.
So you said you were using Blonde Orplex. Michelle,
Yeah.
my new favorite lightener.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites now too. I'll show you guys in the bowl here. It's got a really nice creamy consistency, which makes saturating very nice. We can mix it in a 1 to 1.5 to 1 to 2 ratio. I personally like 1 to 1.5. What about you, Z?
Yeah, definitely a 1 to 1.5 person as well. I find it gives me like the perfect consistency. So creamy, so easy to apply. If you guys have used our regular multi-blonde powder and you love it, then you will definitely love Blonderplex if you guys haven't tried it yet. And what is it? It's like up to 97% less damage with Blonderplex. I think that's the correct percentage.
Yes, that is the correct percentage. So up to 97% less breakage with Blonderplex. So, really it's great for those damage conscious clients. And if you guys watched Chelsea's live from a few weeks ago, one of the things that she said in it, and that I like that she said, is we really want to have clients' hair condition or the quality of their hair at the forefront of our mind at all times. So if we can do less damage to someone's hair, why wouldn't we? So
Yeah, absolutely.
all
I feel
right.
like I don't lighten anyone without Blonderplex. Nick says incredible lift.
Yeah, we get amazing, clean, beautiful lift. There's no habit change, even though we have our, Plex system in there. We can go in with, I'm going in with the 6-volume developer, and I'm still going to get the amount of lift that I want.
Yeah, exactly. So our Blonderplex is formulated with our Wellaplex #1. Already pre-measured in, so there's no mixing involved. You can just go straight in with your Blonderplex lightener. No need to pre-measure or figure out how much to put into anything, which is like such a convenience factor for me. Less time mixing.
Yes, less time mixing, less time doing math in the back. I know if I've had a really long day, my brain is usually just like fried.
Yeah, so we can go in with our Blonderplex. It's gonna have our Wellaplex #1 already formulated, and then after that, all we would need to do is follow up with our Wellaplex #2. And honestly, the hair is in such a better condition than without it. And I can attest to it because I don't lighten my own hair without Blonderplex.
Yeah, that's a good call out.
April Cook Hair says, love, love, love it. It's beautiful lift.
Amazing. All right, so I'm going to be doing just three foils in the back here, and you guys can kind of see I started the first foil on quite a diagonal, and then I slightly pivoted my foil here, and then I'm going to pivot it even more here, so it's more of a horizontal section. What I'm really doing, and just so you guys can kind of see, is I'm kind of just making sure I'm following this hairline here so that when she pulls this hair forward or she tucks her hair behind her ear, she still sees that brightness here. So I'm really just making sure I'm getting kind of maximum lightness along this hairline, and then just pivoting my foil so I get kind of coverage in the back, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay. So when I start getting to these kind of wide sections here, this is something I was taught by another educator, is I like to take kind of my peace sign on my fingers, and I'm not going to take my foil any wider than that. It really helps when you're working, especially around the curvature of the head too. It just ensures that I'm not going to get any drag. So I'm just going to be taking about this wide of a section, and I'm going to be leaving this out, and I'm not going to be worried about it. Oops, turned the wrong way. There we go. Perfect. And again, I'm just working kind of medium weaves here. You could choose to do slices. I'm choosing to do weaves because I want it to be a little bit softer.
Okay, there's a question here, Michelle, in the question cards. What happens if you add more Wellaplex in Blonderplex? So I'm assuming they're saying, what happens if you were to put Wellaplex #1 in Blonderplex?
Oh, that's a really good question. I mean, the Wellaplex is already built into it, so you don't need to add more. At that point, you're not really giving yourself any benefit. You're just kind of washing money down the drain.
Yeah, I think there are some people who really like to see the plex go into the lightener. It's like that, like, you know what I mean? That like mental thing. Like they like to like see it, that it's in there. Nick says it's a waste of Wellaplex. Yeah, it is, because you really don't need any more. I feel like with Wellaplex also, it's almost like less is more. Like you don't really need to be like adding more to it.
No, at the end of the day, the hair is only going to accept what it needs. So adding more is just, yeah, wasting Wellaplex, as Nick so eloquently put it. Awesome. All right, so I'm moving to the front section. So I only did 3 foils in the back here, and then I'm going to move to the front section. Now this is quite a wide section, so again, I'm going to split it in 2. I'm going to kind of take my peace sign. That's going to dictate how wide I want my front here. Oops. There we go. So this is going to just get clipped out of the way because I'm going to do this section last, and I'm going to work on this kind of front hairline here. So I'm going to do a slice right against her hairline. And really, this can be broken down into 2, this, like for her hairline, just because she has this section here and then this section here, I am going to break it down into 2 different foils. It's funny because on these mannequins, the hairline's actually different on either side. So I was able to do this whole foil in 1 foil on the other side. But you really want to customize it for your client's hairline. So I'm going to choose to do a very fine slice here, and then I'll do another one here.
How realistic to a human.
Having different on either side, yeah.
I wonder if that was on purpose or if they just did that.
Yeah, who knows. And I know doing, you know, these foils on the hairline here can be really awkward because you're kind of working on a vertical almost here. To make sure you don't get dragged, just try not to pull or manipulate the foils too much. You really just want to kind of be gentle, because as soon as you start moving them, they will start to like shift and drag. Okay. I'm going to do my other slice here. And really, this is just a fine, fine slice. I'm not doing it too thick because I do want it to be able to blend, but I'm just looking to get lots of brightness around the hairline.
I really like how few foils you have to put in for this technique, Michelle. I feel like breaking down the head into these like rounded sections, Kind of makes it a bit easier because like the back, you just literally put in 3 foils.
Yeah. Yeah, it breaks it down. And the reason why I chose rounded sections is really because I'm following the curvature of the head. So it just allows me to kind of look at the head in a different and look at the curvature of it and really get maximum coverage. All right, so I'm taking my next foil back, and I was able to now take this as one foil, and I'm going to weave this. So it's a back-to-back foil. So the front is a slice, and then right after it is a weave. This is a great technique for, somebody that's looking to maybe try highlights for the first time or looking for some change, and maybe like damage is a concern in the sense of like they're a little shy. They shy away from getting a lightener because they are scared it's going to damage their hair. This is a great way to add some brightness and, like Zena said, not put a ton of foils in the hair. So since we're not putting a ton of foils in the hair, we're not causing as much damage in their mind.
Well, and also like I love how this is like such an express service too.
Yeah, it's a quick service to do in the salon for sure. All right, so I have finished my 2 back-to-back foils here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a triangle section that starts at the top of my end of my foils here and goes to just behind the ear, so at the end of my section there. And I'm going to take this whole triangle section and I'm going to back comb it. And it's just one big push, so you guys can see. So I do that again. Whew. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm holding the hair at the very, very end, and I'm kind of taking all this hair that's shorter and pushing it out of the way.
Love that.
And if you guys have watched any of our Brazilian Illuminage lives, you'll see that these triangle sections kind of stem from that. I love the triangle sections. I've been able to incorporate them in so many different ways. What about you, Zena?
Yeah, and I think that's the cool thing about like any technique. It's just like taking bits and pieces from it and incorporating it into like your regular day. Because like even like Brazilian Illuminage, maybe you're not doing like an entire Brazilian Illuminage right now, but just taking those triangle sections and like understanding why you're doing them and when you would add them into maybe like another technique. I feel like that's a really valuable thing.
Totally. Yeah. All right. So that is that front section done there. So now I'm going to move to the front hairline. Okay. For these foils, I'm just going to kind of push them out of the way because she's got foils in her face. All right.
Nick says he loves doing a triangle section with a zigzag top.
Oh yeah, nice. All right. So I'm going to take, again, a slice right here in the front section here. And again, this is going to really be dependent on your client's hairline. Luckily, she's got a nice clean hairline in the front, so I'm able to get right in there. And here is where I'm going to start to, like this first foil, I'm going to get nice and close to the root area. But then my next foil back, I'm going to go slightly lower. And it's kind of creating a gradient as I go further back on the head. So, really, I'm trying to make this an express service. So I'm going to try and create that blend and that gradient without having to do a root melt. And I'll take my next foil just right behind there, and it will be another really fine slice. So you can see how fine my slices are. Like I could definitely read a newspaper through there. So I'll start a little bit further down and kind of blend up. So I'm not going right to the root on this one. Do you ever do this when you're doing money pieces, Zena?
Oh yeah, I feel like it's a good way to, like you were saying, kind of soften that line of demarcation without having to go in with a root melt or like a root cloud or anything like that. Because not everybody needs or wants to have a root shadow.
Yeah.
So it's a nice way of diffusing that money piece.
Yeah, totally. All right. And then my last foil here is going to be a weave. Oops. So again, I'm still just taking a really quite fine section of hair, and I'm just going to do a medium weave here.
I think doing these fine pieces and kind of just lightening a few pieces is another really great way to avoid all the damage. I think a lot of clients are being more conscious of that too. Like, people are definitely focusing on more caring for their hair rather than so much lightening. But you know, summer's coming, so I think a lot of people are going to want to at least do like a face frame or like this perimeter lightening like we were doing, Michelle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you noticed, but I know when we kind of came out of lockdown, everybody had such healthy hair, and it's because they weren't styling it as much and they weren't coloring it as much. And now all our clients really want to keep that health of their hair, right?
Yeah, so this is a good way to just introduce a little bit, not do too much. I mean, I'm definitely not one to talk because my hair is like fully lightened, but I have no choice.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So that is my perimeter done. Next, I'm going to move into this next little crescent or circle section, I guess would be a better word for it, that I have here. So, and then Zena, maybe we can talk about some other products that you could use for our damaged clients or
Yes.
damage conscious clients.
Yes.
All right, so I have this whole circle section here. Again, I'm going to split it into two. So I'm going to take my fingers, do my peace sign, and that's going to dictate how wide I want this section to be, especially because I'm working along the curvature of the head. So I'm going to, this is going to be my front section here. I'll just let her down a little bit so you guys can see. Okay, perfect. You can see all right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to be working with the shape of this section. So that means I'm kind of taking almost crescent shaped slices. So I'm going to be working with the curvature of the head. And this really just gives a lot of softness because you're working with the curve of the head. So it's going to be soft, it's going to be blended, it's going to flow really well. So I've taken quite a thick slice there. And it's a slightly kind of curved section, just following the shape of the section. I'm going to hold the hair at the very bottom and push up. And just do one big push. And that just gives me a nice
Oh yeah, that's good.
section. Yeah.
So now why have you decided to take crescent shapes?
Just to follow the curvature of the head and allow it to be really, really soft. I find crescent shapes give you like a nice kind of high and low, and when you're following the curvature of the head, it almost just kind of flows really nicely when it's let down. All right, and I'm just kind of feathering up the top, not going right to the root here.
I'm really excited to see the end result because I feel like this is going to veil over really nicely.
Yeah, it's it's actually amazing how much impact you can get with very little foils. All right, now I'm going to take the hair that I clipped out of the way, and I'm just going to be taking one more foil here, and I'm going to be taking about a 1/4 of an inch slice here, following the curve of that top section, holding the hair at the bottom and doing one big push and pushing that hair out of the way. The nice thing about doing these big pushes like this, especially working at the bottom of the hair, is you're actually pushing all the hair that could potentially be compromised out of the way. So really just focusing on, you know, hair that's not going to be damaged. Okay. So what are some other products that we could use, Zena, if somebody was concerned about damage besides our Blonderplex?
Okay, so yeah, we've talked about Blonderplex, we've talked about our Wellaplex. Another lightener that we could potentially use for the same technique would be our soft blonde cream. Do you ever use that one, Nichelle?
Yes, I do. Do you?
Yeah, so soft blonde cream is our cream lightener in Wella, and it has a really nice consistency. And I find with cream lighteners, I also think it's personal preference too. Like some people prefer a cream, some people prefer a powder, but our soft blonde is super gentle. It has chamomile extracts formulated in, and it's really great for on scalp lightening because of that chamomile extract as well. So
Yeah.
that could be a really great option for someone who is potentially afraid for more damage. Nick says so good, amazing on scalp.
Yeah, it's amazing on scalp, and I've definitely used it in foils before because it is kind of our most gentle lightener. So somebody who's got really fine hair or um, somebody that's really concerned, the cream lightener is nice.
And you can mix with our blonde or soft cream. You can mix our Wellaplex in with it as well. So you can take our Wellaplex number 1 and mix that in, and then follow up with Wellaplex number 2 for just a little bit more extra insurance for that client as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so there's a question here. Do you get the same lift with soft cream?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, you do. You can still get up to 7 levels of lift using our soft blonde cream. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get there. So it's not going to work as fast as our Blondor or Blonderplex, but we're still going to get the same amount of lift.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I wanted to talk about too was our Wellaplex standalone service, which is one of my favorite things to do in salon. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Nick was literally typing the Wellaplex standalone treatment is great for damaged hair. He literally
Yeah.
said that right when I was saying it. We were
Oh,
thinking
that's
the same
amazing.
thing on the same page. That's funny. So yeah, our Wellaplex standalone treatment. I love one of my favorite treatments to do in salon. I have a lot of clients who will maybe just come for a haircut and then they'll do the standalone treatment if they're not getting like a color service that day. And yeah, so I feel a huge difference even in my hair alone doing a standalone treatment. So this is when you're mixing Wellaplex number 1 with water, and then putting that onto the hair, and then following up with Wellaplex number 2 straight over top. And this is just going to help rebuild those broken bonds in the hair. And I don't know. Do you do this, Michelle, in the salon? I feel a huge difference.
I do. I definitely do. And it's great for like people, like you said, coming in for just a haircut in between or just coming in for treatments, in between color services, or even someone who hasn't had a color service and maybe has some mechanical damage. It's a really great service for that.
Nick says it's great to apply with a spray bottle. Ooh, that's a good one.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. I never thought of doing it that way.
No, I usually just apply it with a bottle, so that's a good idea.
Yeah. All right. So I followed up in the back while we were kind of talking and with the same thing. I did 2 foils, one underneath following the curve and then one on top following the curve, where I just pushed my back combing out of the way or pushed some hair out of the way. And that is the technique finished.
Nice.
All right.
And so you just leave the top? Nothing's up there?
Nothing's up there. This top section is going to veil over everything. So yeah, I mean, that it's a really quick technique to do. Normally, if I was doing this in the salon, I would be kind of working side to side. So I'd kind of do one side, then the other, and work side to side. But for the sake of, a live, I did it I did one side and then the other side. But you guys can see how quickly that went together. So, all right. Next steps after this, I would rinse, follow up with my Wellaplex step 2. Which comes in kind of like the little purple tub, and I would leave that on for 10 minutes. I would also use that just to like save for time's sakes. I would, while the step 2 is in the hair, I'd kind of comb out any back combing that I have in there because it's nice and conditioning. So it gives me a little bit of slip to the hair to comb out my back combing. And I got to wait 10 minutes anyway. So maximize your time at the sink. Mm-hmm. And then after I would rinse, shampoo, follow up with my post color treatment, whether that be my service post color treatment or my new Color Motion Plus post color treatment. And then I would go in with my toning service. So if I have somebody that's really damage conscious and or has compromised hair or something like that, my toner choice is going to be in the Color Touch family. And Color Touch, I choose Color Touch because it's our demi-permanent. It's got glimmer pigments in it. It's got keratin complex built into it. It's really kind of like the healthiest option for us to tone the hair, and it adds a ton of shine. So I would go in with my color toner of choice and my Color Touch and tone and finish my service.
I also love that Color Touch is ammonia free too, because you do get those people asking for an ammonia free color.
Yes, definitely. Awesome. Now, do you guys want to see my finished mannequin?
I would love to.
Awesome. All right. So I'll bring her over here. Oops.
Ooh.
So this is her finished. So
Love
I toned her with 9-stroke 7.5 from Color Touch. There was no root melt, nothing. It was just straight 9-stroke 7.5 for 20 minutes. And you can just see how bright it kind of got her all over. So I just did, you guys saw how many foils I did. It's not that many, and it really just brightened everything up all over. She's got this really nice blended money piece. And then when I kind of pull her hair back here, you can see she's got lots of brightness around the face. If she were to kind of tuck her hair behind her ear, she'll see lots of lightness kind of poke through underneath. That's a thing for me. Like I did create this technique for myself. So I love being able to tuck my hair behind and just see that lightness kind of pop through. So
yes, we're getting some comments here. Nice, gorgeous. Would you like to share your formula with us, Nichelle?
yeah, definitely. So I love to pre-color my mannequins. So I pre-colored her with 6-stroke 3.5, which is a level 6 gold mahogany or red violet. And then I toned her with my 9-stroke 7.5, which is from our new Bellini collection. So it's a level 9 brown red violet or mahogany again, and both with 6 volume. And then honestly, I finished it with just a little bit of oil, blow dried her, and then styled her with my GHD curve. So yeah, all
Love
that
those
shine that
tips.
you're seeing is our Color Touch, which is
Nick
amazing.
says stunning. We have April Cook saying gorgeous. Love 9-stroke 7.5. It is a beaut.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah. All right. And were there any more questions in the cards or anything, Z?
Let me see here. Oh, we got another comment. Wow. I think we covered all the questions. The question I
Perfect.
had was, could you do this technique as like a balayage technique?
Yes, 100%. Of course, you would ask that. You could totally do this as a balayage technique. And honestly, if you're doing this as a balayage, you wouldn't have to do the back combing sections. You could kind of paint them in one section. Yeah, 100%. I would use my free lights in that case, and you could do this as a freehand paint.
Yeah, because I love a paint. Okay, so we have a couple more questions here. Sorry. Nice work. How would you incorporate color into a bang?
How would I incorporate color into a bang? Oh, so if I'm hoping I understand this correctly, if your client had bangs, how would you incorporate this? And that's a really good question. If
Yeah.
I had somebody that had bangs, and if I was like working with like a full bang, I would maybe not do the money piece the way I did it. I would maybe just add like a couple of weaves into it just to add some brightness, and then really focus the brightness kind of from the temple down. Or if, if she was like full fringe, I would kind of focus from the temple area down where I get all that brightness, and then just maybe do a few weaves in the bang, or even just leave the bangs dark, and then you get that really kind of nice brightness that kind of peeks through the sides. If I was working with more of a curtain fringe, then you could do this technique the way it is. I actually have a curtain bang, and this is what I've kind of done on my hair. So.
Yeah, I feel like when a client has a full fringe, it's definitely like a conversation with the client on whether or not they want to see it in there or or if they want to leave it dark. Like I always have like that conversation for
Yeah.
sure. I always address it.
Yeah.
um, so we have a few more comments here. Love, absolutely love this halo. Great for people with glasses. That's a good call out, Chelsea.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much for all your nice words, everybody. I'm really happy you guys enjoyed the technique.
Me too. Yeah, it was a great technique. I loved it. Thanks, Nichelle.
Thank you. So I think we are all done for the day. That was a quick, easy technique for you guys, but we will be back on Modern in 2 weeks, same time, same place, and we will be doing, I believe it's Magma.
Yes.
I
Yes, I
think it
do
is.
believe
Yeah.
that. Stay tuned.
Um,
We'll confirm.
Yes, I believe Chelsea's coming on to do Magma in 2 weeks. But yes, thank you everybody for your time this morning. I hope everybody is doing well out there. We're all thinking about you. And if you guys ever have any questions, you can always feel free to DM us offline. My Instagram is the hair niche, and Zena's is Z Hair Warrior. And you can also get a hold of us on Wella Canada West. Yes, liquid hot. Chelsea, I was right. See, I kind of knew it was.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thank
Thank
you
you so
guys.
much. Thanks to Modern Beauty Supplies again. We love coming on your lives. And thank you guys so much for watching and for your questions. And Nichelle, great technique. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Chelsea.
Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you guys all soon.
Bye.